winds moving east, heads up Sulphur. This is going to be coming your way here shortly, not necessarily the area of rotation, but some strong winds moving with this. So, yep, quite the winds. Again, I was querying them earlier, anywhere from 100 up to 120 miles an hour. So let's pick up shear rate and see. Yeah, it still looks like we got a decent amount of shear here near Wynnewood. That is right where that tornado warning, right smack dab in the middle of it. But a lot of shear in the environment. It is kind of amazing that we're just have the one tornado warning at this point. Again, we did have another one a little bit earlier ago. But we're going to be watching as this continues moving very slowly. Unfortunately, we were kind of hoping to be kind of halfway done, not just beginning at this point. But we take what we can get. We know we do have sunshine at the end of this tunnel of these storms. So Murray County, Garvin County, seeing the worst of it right now. Main line is starting to move through Ardmore and Marietta. But I want to show you, there's no lightning with these storms just south of this tornado-warned storm. That means there can't be any tornado potential. There's no convection happening. So we're going to be watching. I have seen showers develop a funnel, but I don't think that's going to be the case. We're not in a tropical environment right now. That's more so where that happens. We are not in a tropical environment. Still got a lot of moisture. We all know that. But I think that is a very good sign that there is not a lot of lightning. Now, could this change? Yes, this line still hasn't fully organized towards the south. It's pretty messy at this point. You can kind of see. Let me get my pointer here. Here we go. It's kind of messy. It's not as linear as those storms a little bit farther north are, and not completely straight through. But you can see where it is more organized and more linear. That is where these tornado warnings are firing in central Texas and just near DFW here too. So, one active tornado warning. Carter County, you are in the clear. Garvin and Murray County, still under that active tornado warning. We are going to hold on to this. Davis, Oklahoma, I think is just in the clear. Actually,
they just trimmed that warning back.
They just trimmed the warning back?
Yeah,
okay.
They're just watching it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to take lightning off. I'm going to see what we're working with here. Okay, so Wynnewood and Pauls Valley are still technically included in this warning, so we're going to hold on to this because I know we do get viewers in Wynnewood, so we're going to stay on to this. We're going to get you out the door, or maybe out the door eventually. Don't necessarily leave right now, but these storms still moving through. Did they say anything as far as
the Wynnewood? For Wynnewood? Yeah. They're watching. It's a remnant circulation. It's shrunk, as we have seen on radar. They're going to keep an eye on it. It's just a large area of circulation that could tighten up at any time.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit what I was saying earlier, that with this setup, the tornadoes very fast can lift up and then touch right back down. So the National Weather Service doesn't necessarily want to take away this warning, because in the time that they do, the tornado could already be back on the ground because it's very fast. It all happens fast. So in order to keep everybody safe and to just stay on top of it, is just to kind of hold on to these warnings later on. So we have a little over 15 minutes left on this current tornado warning. Now, if they do continue this downstream, this could likely impact western portions of Pontotoc County. This does include Stratford, does not include Roth. Pontotoc County right now, you're just kind of seeing some spotty rain, maybe seeing some strong winds starting to approach. There is an active tornado warning in very, 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 very far northwestern portions of Pontotoc County. I'm going to name some roads. I don't even know if we have any cities that are populating in this area. But County Road 1430, County Road 1450, State Highway 13, North 3476 Road, and County Road 3470. That is northwestern Pontotoc County. I'm not sure how many people are actually in that viewing area, but there are signs of rotation there. And that is moving towards the east and northeast. The good news is that specific tornado warning should not impact Bing or Ada. If that changes, we will let you know. But right now, it does look to be taking more of that eastern, northeastern track rather than a southeastern track. They would have to dive south in order for Ada to be impacted by that specific storm. But we're seeing some more of this rain starting to fill in. We're hoping maybe that rain fills in ahead of it and kind of cuts off that severe weather threat as we move throughout the morning. Pauls Valley just still on the cusp of that tornado warning for Murray and Garvin counties. Wynnewood, just seeing some strong winds right now. Looks like that storm is kind of moving right through Wynnewood, might be on the way out. So Wynnewood might be kind of on the downward trend of things right now. But still, don't do not get out of your tornado safe areas. You are still under a tornado warning through 6:30. You don't want to get out and then something happens and then there you are. There's a tornado and you're not in your safe spaces. So again, luckily just the one tornado warning. Right now, I do likely anticipate there to be more as the morning and early afternoon rolls on.
We were speaking of Stratford earlier, Amber. I'm guessing it's the fire department. They are setting off sirens. In Stratford, they have opened safe rooms just in case. That's what they're saying as of right now.
Okay, perfect. So if you are in Garvin counties or even far western Pontotoc County, they are sounding the sirens in Stratford, and they are opening shelters so people can get into those safe spaces. Of course, at this point, if you're not already there, I wouldn't risk, unless you're a block away and you can maybe make it by foot within the next minute, I wouldn't risk getting out and about just because that main area of the strong winds seems to be pushing through right now. Once this area of red, you can kind of see, moves through Stratford, that severe weather threat is going to be cut off. Right now, that severe threat is where the brightest of these colors are. That's where the strongest of the winds. And I'm going to, again, query some of these that aren't even in that tornado warning. So Davis and Sulphur, 65-mile-an-hour winds. So getting a little bit calmer, I guess you could say that, though that's not really all that calm, but it's way less than the 100-mile-an-hour winds we were dealing with a little bit earlier at the beginning of this storm, but still could do some damage. So Davis, Sulphur winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles an hour. You, again, are kind of in the thick of it right now, but the storm is moving east. It won't be long and before this is out of our way. Again, this tornado warning will expire in the next 14 minutes. Just hold on tight, and we will keep an eye on that. No word on any additional tornado warnings coming after.
No.
Okay, that's a good sign. But again, I don't necessarily think that means we're in the clear for the rest of today because these storms from the south are approaching the I-35 corridor. You can see this area of rotation just here. That is what we're really looking for. That right here. This is not Texoma, but I want to show you. I want to walk over to the wall, actually. If we could pull up Max really quick, and I'm going to walk over to the wall so I can really show you. Okay. And I might have Hunter here run radar really quick. Okay. So this is not DFW. We do, again, have one active tornado warning in Murray and Garvin County. This is a tornado warning just near DFW. So I want to show you, this is really what we're looking for, but not really what we're seeing with the tornado warning we have. This right here, you can really see that tight coming together of the colors. The closer they are, it means the stronger that rotation likely is, or more put together, if you will. So if we go back north to our area, a little bit north to our tornado warning, and there we go. You can see that it's just not, it's not really there. There's definitely strong winds, very, very bright colors, but there's not that tight little couplet, which we call it. So that's what we're looking for. It's a good sign that we're not seeing it, but we're not in the clear. That tornado warning is still in effect through 6:30, and there's still some strong winds with this, upwards of 60 to 70 miles an hour. Wynnewood included, Pauls Valley included, Stratford included. Not included is Davis and Sulphur, but they are still seeing some of these very strong winds. That is going to be moving into Pontotoc County here shortly, near Roth and Fitzhugh. Hickory right now is quiet, but won't be over the next half hour to an hour. We are going to be watching, but if you were behind this main line of storms, we are in the clear as far as severe weather. Thank you, Hunter.
You're welcome.
I will come back over here. I'm doing a lot of musical chairs here this morning. All right. Okay, so that is what we're looking for, and not really what we're seeing a lot of this morning. Now, we have that tornado watch through 11 a.m. This specific tornado warning is going to be lasting through...
Try it now.
My mouse, we've got...
My
mouse is asleep at the wheel. Oh, no. Okay. Well, okay. Well, once I get my mouse to work, sometimes it likes to take a little nap. These storms moving through, again, Garvin, Murray County, this is heading towards Pontotoc County. It's just along State Highway 29. Interstate 177 is also included within that warning. There we go. There's my mouse. All right. So zooming out here, just this one warning, of course. My mouse, again, does not want to work. Okay, so Paul's Valley, heads up, Wynnewood, and still included in that tornado warning. This is, again, moving northeast. So, Ada, I do not think you have any reason to be concerned at this point. That is. Though, don't let your guard down. The same line is going to be moving through your area within the hour or two. So, again, strong winds. I do anticipate likely seeing this tornado warning come to an end here shortly. They may just, they're very busy, the National Weather Service this morning, so they may just hold on to this for the next 10 minutes and allow it to expire once we get to that 6:30 hour. But Wynnewood, you are in the clear. The strongest of the winds does look to be ahead of you, so I don't think that tornado threat still stands for Wynnewood at this time. Paul's Valley, I think, also on the kind of end of things here with that severe weather threat. We also don't even have any severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place, which is, I mean, that's a good sign. I showed you that we really didn't have a lot of lightning with those storms downstream.
It looks like they're going to extend this warning in Pontotoc County.
Okay, so they are going to extend this warning into Pontotoc County. We mentioned that they may, just to proceed on the air of caution because of how quickly these storms can touch down and lift up. I'm hoping my mouse here will work a little bit if I can't. There we go. Maybe.
There you go.
Oh, no, it didn't work.
Oh.
Oh, bear with us this morning. It's early start to the severe weather threat. All right, so Stratford, Oklahoma, Wynnewood, Pauls Valley, State Highway 177, heads up Pontotoc County. They are downstreaming this tornado warning. Not sure if this is going to include Bing or Ada. I could see it possibly since this main area of concern. Why does the mouse just stop every time I go to use it? So the main area of concern, there we go. Yeah, I was going to say, is kind of just north of Sulphur. Does include Ada. Roth, Oklahoma, Ada, Oklahoma. You are now in a tornado warning until, do we have any specs on that storm?
It's going to be until 7 a.m.
7 a.m. Okay, so what that means is there is likely not going to be a Good Morning Texoma show. You can tune in tomorrow morning for that, but we are going to keep everybody safe and hopefully off the roads during this severe weather threat at this point. So strongest of the winds right now approaching Pontotoc County. Roth, get into your tornado safe areas right now. Ada, you got some time, but you need to get there. It is going to be there before you know it. Stratford, Stonewall, just western portions of that. Sorry, Kyle. Western portions of Stonewall not included, are included within that warning, but eastern portions of Stonewall are not included within that. So I'm going to see if I can't get this mouse over here. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you, babe. Okay, so let's see if we can't zoom in. I think our Mac's computer is having a little bit of an issue. Okay. So this is a newly issued tornado warning. You said through 7 a.m.
Yep.
Hunter. This storm is moving. Okay.
Oh. It's back.
Okay, it's back. Okay, sorry, our computers are. There we go. So this is through 7 a.m. for Garvin, Murray, Pontotoc, and Seminole County. Radar indicated we still have not had really anything confirmed on the ground. But again, it is still kind of dark. This storm moving a little bit faster at 50 miles an hour. Hey, the faster these move in, the quicker we can get them out. So we will take that. Now, today, we will have some sunshine at the back half of this severe weather threat, but we are still going to be monitoring this until we get there. So if you are in Garvin County, if you're in Carter County, at least western portions, that severe weather threat, I think, is pretty much done with. Though, let me check lightning here in case we have an uptick. Yeah, really no lightning south of these tornado warnings. It's very interesting to see here. But the main line that is moving through that we are mostly concerned with is going to be moving through Bing, Ada, Roth, and just nearing Stonewall. Let's name a few roads here to give people a heads up, because I know people are trying to hit the roads to get those kiddos to school, to get yourself to work. Again, do not get on the road if you are within these tornado warnings at all. You definitely want to head inside. Lighting Ridge Road, County Road 3510, County Road 3550, Fitzhugh, County Road 1600, and County Road 3440. This does include Interstate 377. and does include Roth. I don't know if I said that already. Fitzhugh, East 1690 Road, Hickory. Those are all areas that are included within this next tornado warning that was issued downstream. So very broad area of rotation. It's here. I'm going to get my little pointer out. There you go. Where those bright colors are, that is the main area of concern. That is moving, heading for Roth right now. So it's in the next minute or two, we're going to likely see those very strong damaging winds move through Roth and Hickory. Ada is still, let's kind of time out how far away Ada is from this main line of concern. So about 20 miles. That puts you out probably about a half hour. This is your heads up, Ada, and that's a half hour max. It might be less than that. So go ahead, get into those tornado safe areas. If you are out and about on the roads, and by chance maybe you're watching the live stream, maybe you're hearing the warnings on the radio, again, we are going to be watching this close. These very, very strong winds, possibly tornadoes. You do not want to be on the roads if you don't have to, though I know it's morning rush hour. What can you do? If you can, try to pull off. Don't get out of the car. And again, they say to get in a ditch. That is not correct. That is not the safest area. Try to find a building, a gas station, a restaurant, a store, even a house. Somebody's house, knock on the door. Hey, there's a tornado warning. Just try to find ways to keep yourself safe. If you can avoid getting on the roads this morning, please do so. But again, this is mainly along I-35. I know it's not always plausible or possible to have everybody off the roads for the work week, but if you're near McAllister, Antlers, Hugo, Paris, Idabel, you're fine for that morning commute, I would say. Those storms really aren't going to be rolling through until after, I would say closer to midday, if you will, because that's about what we anticipate these storms to be dealing, what's what timing we anticipate these storms to be moving in near Colgate, Atoka, Durant, and even Fannin County. So Ada, included in this newly issued tornado warning, we have about another 40 minutes on this storm. We're going to stay on it and keep you guys, of course, up to date and safe. You can see the environment is very favorable. This is what we've been talking about since last Tuesday, giving you a very early heads up, and lo and behold, there it goes. You can see those brighter blues and the purples. Now the purples, they're concerning, but the brighter these colors are, the more concerning it is, because that means we have even more rotation in the upper levels and likely at the surface. But we still have yet to have anything confirmed on the ground for our viewing area, which again, it is still pretty dark. Sunrise doesn't happen until about another hour, about 7:20, 7:25. So we'll have to see what happens once we get past daylight. We're also going to have to see how daylight might be impacting these storms. It might give them an extra pump of juice to keep going into the midday, or it might kind of cut it off. It's just a matter of what happens, kind of waiting and seeing. But let's play out our future sky forecast. I do anticipate storms to kind of maintain their intensity past sunrise. This is about 9 a.m. moving through Pittsburgh, Atoka, Bryan, Grayson County. This continues moving east and out of the way closer to 2 p.m. So while this is slowed down, timing of exit still appears to be about the same with what we were thinking, about 2 p.m. If that changes, of course, we will let you know. But right now, it's just that early morning commute that we're having to get through. That tornado warning is still ongoing. Again, we actually have two in place now. One for Garvin and Murray counties. However, that storm is kind of mostly on the way out and moving into Pontotoc County. And that was the reason for the downstream warning for Pontotoc County, which does include Bing, Ada, Roth, and Hickory, which again, that is in Murray County as well. So I'm going to pull up correlation coefficient. I don't really anticipate to see much considering the area of rotation is super, super broad. But if you're just tuning in, correlation coefficient is a great way to kind of detect those stronger tornadoes because it shows us, or really kind of gives us an idea of if there's anything flying or abnormal in the sky. So when we see a drop in correlation coefficient, or you'll sometimes hear us say CC for short, that usually indicates that something is being lofted into the air, whether that be from strong winds or from a tornado. A good sign is we're really not seeing a huge, big drop in CC within that area of rotation. Does that mean there's no rotation? No, that is not what that means, because we've been seeing that shear rate pretty consistent with this line. It really has not changed much, just kind of along our northern counties. But very interesting to see this gap in shear rate from really southern Carter County all the way down to Cook County. However, when these storms start to move through, I think that is going to be changing. I think that shear rate might be getting a little bit higher. We are seeing some signs of lightning in Love County, which we'll keep an eye on and see. The more lightning we have, the stronger these storms are likely going to get. So almost all of Pontotoc County is included in that tornado warning this morning. Do not hit the roads if you don't have to. Again, this area of rotation looks a little bit brighter maybe. I think this might be tightening, maybe. Ugh, it's just so messy. I'm going to take off the tornado warning here, and I'm going to see if I can't get some of these wind speeds, because I think these winds are pretty strong. Yeah, close to about 80 miles an hour at times. I think more consistent with 60 to 70 miles an hour. That is moving into Roth near Fitzhugh and will be moving near Ada here shortly. We're going to keep an eye on this here, this little kind of ball. This might be an uptick in that rotation, but I'm not sure. It could just be some embedded strong winds. So I'm just thinking out loud here and kind of keeping you on my train of thought. So we're going to keep an eye on this little area here. That is obviously why there's a tornado warning. We'll continue watching this. Tornado warning goes through 7 a.m. this morning. Let's get a look at rainfall totals. I'm curious to see. Now, our North Texas totals, I think, are not updated, so those are from this past weekend's rain. But check it out. Close to a little over half an inch in Pauls Valley, almost 3/4 in Duncan, some well-needed healthy rain, over an inch in Waurika. Now, for most of everyone else, it's kind of been feast or famine, but the heavy rain is incoming. So if you haven't seen it yet, hopefully some well-deserved drought-busting rain heading your way this morning. We could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches today. And then by the afternoon, well-deserved sunshine, finally, for us here in Texas. It's been a gloomy last 7-8 days here in Texoma. Now, I'm not really seeing any signs of any additional rotation other than the one tornado warning that we have, which kind of does, I can't tell. It's either getting weaker. I think it might be getting a little weaker with some embedded stronger winds. We have kind of two areas here. That is just east of North 3430 Road and heading just along County Road 1610 this morning. Very, very strong winds, upwards of 70 to 80 miles an hour. Very strong storm. It's kind of been the one lone storm that's been giving us the most problems this morning. And just been waiting from the National Weather Service for some updates. There's still ongoing tornado warnings near DFW. And yep, so we can hear the rain outside of our studio. That is for sure. No severe weather here in Grayson County just yet. We do have that tornado watch, though, through 11 a.m. I'm going to pull up that county map again just to make sure that there hasn't been any additional added. So no new counties added, but a good sign. Stevens County has been removed from that tornado watch. So that just goes to show that once that main line is through, we're pretty confident that we're done with the severe weather threat. So hopefully here shortly, counties along the I-35 corridor will be expired or canceled a little bit earlier. But this line is still just moving along I-35. It's been slow moving. It is going to be a long morning, that is for sure. But these storms in our northern counties are kind of outrunning the ones in the southern part, but kind of giving that diagonal feel. But heavy rain, the strongest of the storms moving into Pontotoc County now with all that lightning. But not a lot of lightning other than that one storm there. So, I mean, I'm not going to jinx it, but we're just going to keep an eye on this one storm, and I'm not going to jinx anything by saying anything wrong. So, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to extend anything. Okay, so looks like we got some of that turning of the atmosphere moving into Pontotoc County, that area of purple. That is going to be approaching the Indian Nation Turnpike. I believe that is that road. Fun fact, the Indian Nation Turnpike is one of the roads that gave me problems on my first wall-to-wall. So that's why I know that road. I know it well. I'll never forget. But we are still seeing some signs of rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere and possibly still at the surface too. No hail concerns. Looks like that has dropped off quite a bit. I wonder if we can still backtrack. I don't think it goes back that far. But like I said, they had tennis ball size. Yeah, I won't go back that far. But they had tennis ball sized hail in the Panhandle last night and earlier this morning, however you want to put it, depending on your sleep schedule. But for us here at home, we are now dealing with these storms, strong in nature for Pontotoc County with that tornado warning for Roth and Ada. This is continuing to move northeast, so I don't anticipate this tornado warning to impact Cole County. But Cole County, Colgate's seeing some heavy rain right now. No need to be alarmed just yet, but winds, they could be getting a bit noisy with that as those storms start approaching. But with this taking more of that northeastern track, I'm going to put a new track on it. This is moving at about 50 miles an hour, so a little bit faster than previous. So I'm going to tap here. Let's go here. All right, so I'm going to time this bottom half of the line out, or at least for us. Okay, so the timeline, 6:35. That's not. Okay, 6:35 in Ada, sorry. So within minutes here in Ada is going to be seeing some of that rain move through. Stonewall at about 6:54, 7:13 in Stewart. If the storm holds itself together and does continue more east, McAllister just at about 7:38, Red Oak at about 8:32. Again, that is if the storm holds itself. The current warning will expire at 7 a.m. So we have about 25 minutes left on this storm, and still no update, Hunter, on the Pontotoc County tornado warning?
No, nothing yet.
Okay.
The only information I have is Ada is sounding sirens. The Chickasaw Nation Medical Center has enacted their response plan for tornadoes, and they moved their people to safe rooms as of right now.
Okay, good. So we'd like to see people getting moved to safe rooms. Again, if you're just now joining us, this would be the beginning of Good Morning Texoma at 6:30. Obviously, we are doing storm coverage, tornado warning in effect for Pontotoc County. So Good Morning Texoma will resume tomorrow, and we should have KTEN News midday on it, normal schedule provided. We don't have any active tornado warnings, but the tornado watch does go through 11 a.m. and could likely be extended for our eastern counties. So it's kind of just a waiting game at this point to see how things trend over the next couple of hours. So far, it's been a very active morning with several tornado warnings, not only just in our viewing area, but across the Sooner and Lone Star State. Again, no confirmed reports for our viewing area just yet, but keep in mind we are still about less than an hour now away from sunrise, so we'll see if there's any damage. Of course, let us know. Don't get out there in the middle of the storm, but once everything's safe to step outside and you're maybe seeing some things, let us know what you're seeing, or even if you're inside and you can maybe hear or see out the window, don't get near windows. You want to be inside, away from windows. But if you can kind of see or have an idea of what's going on, let us know what you're seeing. Again, we do not have this tornado confirmed on the ground just yet, but there have been signs, and it does look like this might be trying to tighten up here a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Let me get my pointer here. So you can see this line here. The colors aren't as bright, which means, hey, the winds aren't as strong, but we're also getting farther away from radar. So that could be a bit tricky. But this area of red starting to come in, starting to kind of dip its way into that area of green, kind of scooping it up in there with the winds. So we might be seeing a little bit of a tightening in that, because you can kind of see it's very linear, and then it kind of just subtly starts to turn a little bit. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on that. But I think the main core of this storm is actually right here north of Fitzhugh. Fitzhugh, you're not in the clear. The storm's still impacting you, but you can see the brighter colors. This is heading towards Ada. I know timing on our track a little bit earlier said it'd be hitting Ada now. That is, rain, yes, but I don't think the strongest of the winds are there just yet, but they are getting closer. Yeah, that definitely looks like it is tightening up quite a bit. And moving more northeast, I'm going to query some of these winds. They're getting brighter, which is a sign that this storm might be strengthening up a little bit. Let me see if get this to get some winds here. Still not as strong as they were, maybe closer to about 50, 60 miles an hour. So we'll see, but I'm kind of seeing that sign of rotation, maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. That's something to keep an eye on. Let's see what correlation coefficient looks like. Yeah, no real signs here. Normally, with correlation coefficient, I'm going to tell you what we'd be looking for. It'd be right here, because that's about where that main area of circulation is, just here. There would be very bright colors, kind of similar to this right here. You see that right there? That is just noise. That's not a debris ball. But something like this is what we're looking for right where the core of the storm is, and that's not what we're seeing, which is good. It means there's likely not a lot or anything really detectable being lofted into the air, but still could possibly, if it's small enough and not necessarily getting picked up by radar. Remember, we are far, far away from radar, and we're getting farther away the more east these storms move. So there's still a lot of shear. The environment is favorable for development. We're going to keep an eye on these southern areas. You can see just south of Wilson, starting to see a little bit of shear there, and also moving into Love County. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on, because though we only have the one tornado warning, we have that tornado watch for several of our counties through 11 a.m. That does include Carter, Love, and Johnston, Marshall County, even Bryan County as well. Now, it does not include Pittsburgh, Pushmataha, Choctaw, Lamar, or McCurtain County, though I think they could very much add those counties to that watch once it gets a little bit closer. Those are technically Tulsa and then Shreveport's National Weather Service office. If you remember, we've talked about it quite a bit. We're composed of 4 different offices, so they kind of all have to get in cahoots and kind of get on the same page. So I definitely see that happening as these storms get closer to our Tulsa area counties. But right now they are mostly along I-35, so that's going to be Norman's territory. They're handling this very, very well, staying on top of this tornado warning. Even though it has shown signs of weakening, it's also shown signs of pulsing up again, just like I said. So we're going to be watching this close. It's moving northeast at about 50 miles an hour. No reports of damage, which is good. We're not seeing any reports of anything confirmed on the ground, but we're just still keeping a very close eye on them because we know the environment. We've been talking about this severe weather threat since last Tuesday. We were under that level 2 out of 5 risk from the Storm Prediction Center, and still today, here, lo and behold, here it goes, confirming that severe weather threat, and we are seeing much of it today. Luckily, it looks like that tornado warning just towards our north has been downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's hope we can maybe get on that trend as well and maybe get some breathing time here for taxomans.
We can look up for you, Amber?
I think I'm good right now. Thank y'all, though. Nothing from emergency management or anything?
Nothing from emergency management just yet. No.
Okay, cool.
Just what you can say in just warnings.
Okay, cool. So no reports from emergency management. Again, no news sometimes is good news, but we're going to be waiting. Again, it's still dark. It's still very rainy in the same areas that have been dealing with these storms. So it's still not necessarily safe to get out and about and do your own personal surveys because we are still seeing a lot of that lightning with that storm. And lightning can strike 10 to 12 miles away from a storm. So you could be dry, but there still could be lightning approaching your area or striking in your area. So be careful. I'm going to show you the big picture because I know it is now 6:43, many, if not already, trying to hit the roads. So if you're in Pontotoc County, I would advise do not hit the roads right now. That tornado warning does include Ada. It no longer includes Roth. It still includes Bing and Fitzhugh. But despite whether you're in the tornado warning or not, we have been seeing signs of very strong winds with this. So definitely want to avoid the roads at all costs as these storms start to move through. Sulphur seeing that heavy rain. Now, from Carter County south, a lot of this is just rain. So if you're going to chance it and you're going to hit the roads, right now it could just be rain, but it doesn't take much to start to get that uptick in the storms to start to kind of get stronger and stronger, especially with these moving in from the south. This one now approaching Cook County. This is not a tornado-warned storm, but you can see all of this lightning that is moving just northeast, heading towards Munster. That is what's going to be approaching the bottom half of this of I-35 over the next really over the next hour or two. So if you don't have to chance it, I wouldn't chance it. You would rather be safe than sorry. You don't want to hit the roads and then a tornado warning hits, and then where do you go? If you're on the roads this morning and you're watching a live stream and you hear a tornado warning starts to go off for your area, don't panic. Don't panic. Don't try to outrun the storm either. If you can find a building, find a friend's house maybe that's nearby, a gas station, they'll let you in. Even if they're closed, if there's somebody there, hopefully they'll let you in because this tornado warning is still ongoing, and it's safer to be inside a building rather than on the road in your car. So being in Ada, Oklahoma are still within this tornado warned storm for the next 15 minutes. We're going to get you through this, get you through these storms, Texella. It's just... Nothing confirmed on the ground near Ada, but the storm is just now moving into Ada, so some strong winds. So while I might be saying nothing on the ground, doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. We just don't have a lot of spotters out. It's dark. So radar confirmed, or not radar confirmed, radar indicated. This not yet has been confirmed. But let's pull up velocity since I know this is, oh yeah. Okay, if you're in Ada and you're not already there, you need to get into your storm-safe shelters now. I just feel like this is kind of tightening up a little bit. It's messy, but it just looks a little bit tighter than what it did. I know we're getting farther away from radar. Might be taking more of a northern track. Looks like it's crossing State Highway 13. Heads up, Bing, you need to be in your tornado-safe areas as well. I'm going to zoom out here. You can see how bright those colors are. Let's query some of these now. I think these winds, if the rotation hasn't gotten a little bit better in the sense that it's more organized, not necessarily better for us, but still about 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. I don't know. I feel like we could be seeing maybe 60, 70 mile an hour winds with this embedded storm moving along State Highway 13. This is approaching Ada. So going to get a bit noisy, very windy here for sure. But that tornado warning is ongoing. Let's see if we can't pull up. Okay, so no signs of any big drop in the correlation coefficient. That is a good sign. Let's see here. State Highway 377 is still included within that warning. Let's get some specs on this. I think they may have updated it. Okay, so this storm still capable of producing a tornado and up to quarter-size hail. It doesn't say how fast it's moving. Oh, here we go. Northeast at 50 miles an hour. So still about the same speed it's been since moving through Garvin and Murray counties and even northern portions of Carter County. But this is going to be moving northeast and should be, once it moves out of Ada or through Ada or between Ada and Bing, this is going to be kind of on the way out for us here. So it doesn't look like we're going to be doing any long track. Bing and Ada sounding their tornado sirens. So, yep, if you haven't already, that is your sign. Get inside. If you're outside, yep, there we go. That is what I was talking about. See that bright blue? That is right where that area that I was saying, I don't know, it looks like it's getting a little bit stronger, and that shear rate has gone up, which shows that the rotation in the atmosphere is looking better and better. So I think that this tornado-warned storm very much could have a tornado with it at this point based on how things are looking. So again, this is why we've been seeing these storms, or tornado warnings, get issued and then stay issued after they look a little bit messy like we've been talking about, because it's so quick. It can happen so fast. I mean, because look at it already. It already looks a little bit more messy and more so like straight line winds. But we're going to keep an eye on that. We'll keep our eyes glued to the National Weather Service chat and make sure that we aren't seeing anything, or there's nothing else to be of concern within that area. But being in Ada, the two main areas of concern right now, if you're trying to leave for work and you're being in Ada, do not do it right now. Might as well just go ahead and wait. Yeah, you can, oops, I don't want that ruler. I want the pointer. Here we go. So this is the main area of concern, just along 377 here, being in Ada. Now, that is where we're seeing that kind of turning of the atmosphere a little bit, and some strong winds, too. Again, winds have been upwards of, at the beginning of the storm, 100 miles an hour. So it's very, very strong. Still eyeing the southern part of these storms. Good sign. that there's not a lot of lightning. I don't want to say no lightning, but we're starting to see more of that lightning move into Cook County. Tornado watch still in effect through 11 a.m. this morning. So if you're just joining us, we have been tracking storms all morning long. What started out as a tornado warned storm in Garvin County turned into a tornado warned storm in Carter, Murray, and now Pontotoc County. That is through 7 a.m. We have about 10 more minutes on this, so bear with me. I know you're probably tired of hearing my voice, but we got to get people through these storms safely. It is, again, tornado warning for Ada and Bing. Hey, check out that lightning count, though. Remember what it looked like? If you've been watching since the beginning of this storm, you'll know you could barely see the color of the rain, well, the radar colors, because of how much lightning there was. Well, since the lightning is dropping off, that is a good sign, but we still have the tornado warning in place, so we're not going to go ahead and say everybody's in the clear, but we're hoping maybe that weakening trend will continue so we don't have to worry about any additional tornadoes this morning. But with the look of it, it looks like this kind of is becoming way more disorganized, which might work in our favor, but we also might be working with some embedded tornadoes rather than along a linear system. So it's kind of a give and take here. So it's, again, just a matter of watching the trends because of how messy this is. Check out our future sky forecast. Let me pull it up here really quick. So our future sky forecast, I mean, it keeps it really linear. I mean, you can see it, line, but that's really not what we're seeing right now, at least the southern portion of these storms. It's starting to get way more messy, but there's still an embedded line which will give us that chance for these spin-ups for the rest of the morning into the early afternoon hours. So this is now moving out of Murray County, and Pontotoc County is seeing kind of the most of it now. Some heavy rainfall from Marshall to Johnston County. If you're in Marshall County, Johnston County, and you're kind of getting a little nervous because you're starting to hear the rain hit the roof, no need to be concerned. There are maybe a few lightning strikes, but there was no active severe thunderstorm warning. There's no active tornado warning for Johnston and Marshall counties. Only current tornado warning we have right now is for Carter County, or Pontotoc County. Carter County, tornado warning has expired ways away ago. Pontotoc County, Ada is the one who is included in this tornado warning right now.
I just got a hold of the Pontotoc County emergency manager, Danny Manuel. He said right now they're okay. They're going to get to a safe place.
Okay, so word from the emergency manager from Pontotoc County. Yes. He says they're okay, but they're going to hunker down and kind of probably wait out this storm. So this is moving right through Ada right now. Again, no confirmed reports of anything on the ground. Lightning has been letting up a little bit, which is a good sign, but we still have quite a bit of shear. Check it out. You can see those bright blues embedded in the purple. Now that is still looking pretty good as far as shear rate is concerned. Again, what is shear? Well, shear is the turning of the winds into the atmosphere. So that's how we measure the spin, if you will. The higher, the brighter these colors are, the more spin there is in the atmosphere, and the more likely it is that there's a tornado on the ground. Still cannot confirm that for the current warning in Pontotoc County, but heads up, the area of rotation, you can see where that shear rate is approaching 377, being in Ada about to get the brunt of the storm before it starts to clear out within the next half hour. So we still got a ways to go. We're going to get you through the storm and going to keep you guys safe.
They will be expiring that warning at 7 a.m., Amber.
Okay, so we got about another 7 minutes on this, and then hopefully we'll be able to take a break, at least for a little bit before, knock on wood, hopefully we don't have any more tornado warnings today. But if we do, of course, you know where to turn. We'll be on NBC and on ABC with any and all tornado coverage if those warnings do go off again. But we've got another about 7 minutes. Hang in there with us, Ada and Bing. We are getting you through this storm. We are walking you through it. It will be done within the next 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to kind of get this ruler out and see how far away the core of the storm is from moving away from Ada and Bing. So about 10 miles away from moving out of Ada and Bing into far eastern portions of Pontotoc County, though, of course, we're going to keep an eye on everybody in Pontotoc County, but this is going to be moving, if it maintains itself, into or closer to, looks like maybe Seminole County, Hughes County. I think that's Hughes County. Might be Seminole. Not our county. That's what I do know. So we're going to be watching the rain chances on and off all day long. And that chance for severe weather is going to last through at least 11 a.m. An update, they have removed Jefferson County from that tornado watch, which I know technically is in our area. But just going to show that once the main line is through, we are fine as far as severe weather is concerned.
We have a tornado warning.
New tornado warning. Oh, right.
Ardmore.
Ardmore? Okay. Tiger, you want to let Lexi know that there is...
oh, wow, that's signature.
And let Alex Porter let them know that there is an active tornado warning, and if they can just be safe, please. So an active tornado warning in effect for Carter County. This also does include Johnston and Murray County as well. So Carter, Johnston, and Murray County through 7:30 this morning. So I mentioned you had about another 7 minutes. Well, how about another 37 minutes? So we're going to be watching this tornado warning very close. Okay, so let's get some specs on this. Did they say anything with this, Hunter?
Let's see. We got until 7:30, as you said. Moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Quarter-size hail. Radar indicated rotation. The velocity, if you go to the velocity, it looks pretty decent, unfortunately.
Yeah, that does look, and that's right over Ardmore. Yeah, that's looking very messy, or messy in the sense that looks like it could be doing some damage there. I'm going to fix my little map camera here. Yeah, you can see that area of the bright blues and coming together. That is at least strong winds. We know that, and possibly even a tornado. So let's see what this shear rate is looking like. Again, we know it's been kind of hit or miss. So I mentioned we were seeing an uptick in that shear rate. Ironically enough, this is... I believe, where there's hardly any lightning with this. I mentioned earlier, hey, normally if we don't have a lot of lightning, we're not really going to be seeing any severe weather. Well, lo and behold, lightning started to get going, and so did the rotation in the atmosphere. So we are watching that move along I-35. Do not travel along I-35 right now if you do not have to. An active tornado warning is in place through 7:30 and does include Ardmore, portions of Lone Grove, Gene Autry, Springer. I'm going to name some roads here in Ardmore that might be impacted from this area of rotation. Nothing confirmed on the ground just yet, but we will be in chats with National Weather Service and Emergency Management. So it looks like Springdale Road, South Commerce Street, not sure what street, 8th Avenue Northwest, P Street Northeast, looks like, what is that, Springdale Loop, I think I already said that, Carter Street, Terrace Drive, right on the cusp of that strong wind there as it's moving through. Ugh, it's so messy. But yeah, you can definitely see something there. There is definitely a sign of rotation there. I'm going to try to query some of these winds. I think they could be pretty strong moving through Ardmore right now with these areas of blue. Yeah, okay, winds upwards of 92 miles an hour, close to 100-mile-an-hour winds right now in Ardmore, right smack dab over Ardmore. So if you're in Ardmore, get into those tornado-safe shelters now. It is right overhead. And if you are in, let's see if I can't zoom out here and get some other city names across Carter County. If you're in Dixon, if you're in Springer, Lone Grove. Well, Dixon, technically, you are on the cusp of that warning, but it would not hurt to go ahead and get into those tornado-safe areas because if that storm just turns a little bit more east, we could be seeing an issue there for Dixon, Oklahoma. Gene Autry also included within that warning. This also goes into Johnston County, so well downstream. Again, if this holds itself together, it could be approaching Mill Creek. We can hear the National Weather Service sirens going off in our studio. You can probably hear there's several sirens going off across Texoma, within Pontotoc County, within Carter County. So we will keep tabs on this. Just some very strong winds, at least 100-mile-an-hour winds right over Ardmore right now. That is moving east, northeast, I believe, at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. So looks like moving just east of Ardmore right now. Let's get some of these streets. Harvey Road, Springdale Road, still kind of right in the middle of that Chickasaw Lake Road. Let's see if we can't put a track on this. Hunter, you said there it was moving at 45 miles per hour. Yep. All right, let's time this out. 45 miles an hour.